Zerani sat alone in the dark hangar, her silver eyes fixed on the stars above. The giant doors were open, letting the cold light of space shine on the polished floor. She had flown many ships in her life. Fast ones, strong ones, even ships that could vanish from sight, but none of them felt right. None of them had spoken to her. She was a Zilari, one of the finest pilots in the galaxy. Her people were known for their strict rules, sharp minds, and skill in flying. Zerani was better then. The rest. Other pilots studied her moves in training videos. Fleet commanders fought over who could have her on their missions. But Zerani was tired. Each ship she flew felt empty. The controls obeyed her, but they didn't sing. The engines worked, but they had no soul. She flew faster than anyone, but she felt like a ghost floating through metal dot. She leaned back against the crate and closed her eyes. A soft hum filled the hangar as another craft landed. She didn't bother looking. It was just another test ship, another chance to be let down. Commander Vale, her old mentor, walked over. His steps were slow, but his voice still held power. "Still searching?" he asked. Zerani opened her eyes. "Still empty." "You've tried 39 ships," he said, crossing his arms. "Some would call that enough. Not for me." He nodded. "There's talk about a human vessel docking next cycle. One of their mid-class ships, built by their own hands." Zerani raised an eyebrow. "Humans? Their tech is behind ours. They make up for it in spirit. Or so the stories say." She stood up, brushing off her uniform. "Maybe I'll see it for myself." 3 days later, she stood in front of the human ship. It looked small and simple compared to the Zilari crafts. No smooth curves, no glowing panels. Just plain metal. A little worn. The name Nightingale was painted on its side. A man in a dark uniform stepped forward. He smiled as if she were an old friend. "Welcome aboard. I'm Captain Brandon Cole." Zerani gave a polite nod. "I'm here to observe. Then let's not waste time." He waved her toward the ramp inside. The ship was clean but not fancy. The walls had scratches and marks, signs of use. The control room smelled like oil and coffee. The crew moved around with quiet confidence, laughing and chatting. Zerani watched them closely. She expected chaos, but there was none. Orders were given, but softly. Mistakes happened, but were fixed without shouting. She stayed silent and watched. Later, Captain Cole walked beside her in the hallway. "First thoughts?" he asked. "Your ship looks like it's been through." "A storm?" she said. He laughed. "We've seen a few. But she's held together. You fly without strict ranks, without constant reports, and yet things get done. We trust each other," he said simply, "and we trust the ship." Zerani didn't answer. She wasn't used to trust. In her world, failure meant shame. Over the next few days, she watched. More, she studied the ship's systems. They were less advanced, but clever. The engines were patched with care. The navigation tools were old, but tuned by hand. Every boat had a story. And then there was the way the crew treated the Nightingale. They spoke to it, touched the walls like they mattered. It wasn't just a tool to them. It was part of the team. One evening, Zerani stood alone on the bridge. The stars outside looked the same as ever. But for the first time, the silence didn't feel empty. She reached out and placed her hand on the control panel. It was warm. She didn't know why, but she smiled. Perhaps, she thought, this ship wasn't perfect, but it was alive. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. Zerani stood at the edge of the docking bay, watching the stars move slowly in the distance. The Nightingale rested quietly behind her. She had been on board for 4 days now. Each day, she found something new that surprised her. The humans didn't work like her people. They didn't rely only on rules or machines. They used their hands, their feelings, and something more, hope. She had spent time with the crew. They laughed often, even during stressful times. There was no fear of rank or punishment. They respected each other. It felt strange to Zorani. Back home, even a smile at the wrong time could earn you a warning. Here, mistakes were part of learning. People shared food, fixed broken parts together, and told jokes. It was messy, but alive. Zorani met Ellie, the ship's mechanic. She was short, wore grease-stained clothes, and had quick hands. Zorani found her fixing a power relay with a piece of wire and tape. "You're not using proper repair tools." Zorani said. Ellie grinned. "It works, doesn't it?" Zorani blinked. "You could get shocked. Only if I'm unlucky." Ellie finished her work and wiped her hands. "This ship's old. You can't follow the rule book all the time. You gotta feel her." "Feel her?" Zorani asked. "The Nightingale. She's like a friend. You listen close enough. She tells you what she needs." Zorani didn't understand, but she nodded. She had never thought of a ship like that. Later that day, she joined a training session on the bridge. Captain Cole was testing the crews. Reaction speed in a mock emergency. Zorani watched quietly. When the alert sounded, everyone moved fast. They didn't panic. They worked like they had done this 100 times. Each person knew what to do. Cole saw her watching. "Want to try the next one?" Zorani raised an eyebrow. "I'm not trained on human systems." He smiled. "That's okay. You're a pilot. Let's see what you can do." She stepped forward and sat at the helm. The controls were strange. The layout was different, but the feeling was the same. A ship was still a ship. She placed her hands on the controls. The next challenge began. A simulated engine fire, followed by a drift through asteroid debris. Zorani acted quickly, guiding the ship as if she had done it many times before. Her movements were sharp and precise. The crew stared in silence as she cleared the path and brought the ship to safety. When it ended, the room was quiet. Then Ellie clapped. Others joined. Cole walked over with a nod. "Not bad for someone who said she couldn't fly our systems," he said. Zorani looked at the screen. She didn't speak, but her lips curled slightly. It had felt good. Not perfect, but good. The next morning, an alert came from command. A civilian ship had gone silent near Titan's edge. It was a small transport with 4 passengers. The area was known for strange gravity pulls and time glitches. Most ships avoided it. Captain Cole called a quick meeting. "We're the closest ship," he said. "We'll go check it out. Could be pirates or a system failure." "Or worse," someone muttered. "We're not leaving people out there." Cole said firmly. Zorani listened. In her world, a risky mission like this would need 10 layers of permission. But here, one order was enough. The Nightingale changed course. Zorani stood on the bridge as the stars shifted outside the window. She felt the tension grow. The crew moved with focus. They trusted their captain. An hour later, they reached the outer edge of Titan's drift. The missing ship floated ahead. "Its lights dim. No response," said the comms officer. "Life signs are weak but present." "We can't risk docking directly," Cole said. "Too unstable." He turned to Zorani. "Think you can pilot us close enough for a rescue shuttle?" Zorani didn't hesitate. "Yes." She took the seat. The drift made the controls feel heavy, like flying through thick air. She adjusted. Slowly, feeling each tug. The Nightingale moved closer, shaking now and then. The crew stayed silent, trusting her. With careful turns and steady hands, Zorani reached the right spot. The shuttle launched and the rescue began. When the civilians were brought on board, cold and scared but alive, the crew cheered. Zorani stepped away from the helm. Her heart was beating fast. She looked at the ship's panel, then at Cole. "You flew her like you've known her forever," he said. Zorani touched the edge of the control screen. It felt warm again. Maybe this ship really did speak. And maybe she thought she was beginning to understand the language. Zorani sat in the dining area of the Nightingale, quietly sipping a cup of warm liquid the humans called coffee. Its bitter taste was strange, but it gave her energy. Around her, the crew laughed and talked. Someone played music from a small speaker. The room felt alive. She watched Ellie and another crew member, Liam, joke about a broken food dispenser. They teased each other and then fixed it together with a few tools and some laughter. Zarani didn't understand how they work with so little order and still got results. In her world, work meant silence, focus, and strict steps. Here, work was mixed with feeling. Captain Cole sat beside her. Getting used to it? He asked. Zarani looked at him. Your people are strange. He smiled. We hear that a lot. You don't act like a military crew. We're family first, he said. That's how we survive out here. Zarani thought about that. Family. Her own people didn't use that word often. They had roles, duties, ranks. But not family. Later, she joined the systems check. Ellie invited her to help inspect the engine core. Zarani was hesitant. She wasn't trained on human machines. But Ellie handed her a tool and smiled. You've flown it. Now learn how to care for it. Together they opened panels, tightened parts, and cleaned filters. Ellie showed her shortcuts and tricks. Zarani was surprised by how much she learned. In just a few hours, human machines were built with care, not just speed. After the check, Zarani walked through the ship's halls. She passed rooms filled with plants, photos, and drawings. Every corner had something personal. She stopped at a door left open and saw a small collection of handmade models. Someone had built tiny versions of ships and planets. It was simple, but it showed love. She continued to the observation deck. The stars outside sparkled quietly. She stood there for a while, feeling the ship's gentle movement. For the first time in many years, she felt calm. Over the next few days, she spent more time with the crew. She learned their names, their stories. Liam had grown up on a space farm. Ellie had fixed her first engine when she was 10. Cole had once been a cargo pilot before joining the fleet. Each of them had come from different places. But together, they were strong. One evening, Zarani joined the team for a meal. The table was full of strange dishes. She tried something called mac and cheese. It was soft, warm, and comforting. The others laughed as she made a face at the spicy red sauce. You'll get used to it, Liam said. Maybe, she replied, and took another bite. Captain Cole raised his glass. To the Nightingale, he said, and to new friends. They all cheered. Zarani lifted her glass as well. It felt natural. Later that night, she found herself in the engine room. The lights were dim, the hum steady. She placed her hand on the wall. She remembered what Ellie said feel the ship. It didn't make sense in a technical way, but she understood. Now, this ship wasn't just metal and wires. It had heart because the people who cared for it. Captain Cole found her there. Couldn't sleep? I don't need much rest, she said. He nodded. You flew well back at Titan's Edge. You saved lives. I did what was needed. You're more than a pilot, Zarani. You're becoming part of this crew. She looked at him. I didn't expect to feel that. He smiled. Neither did we when we first flew together. But that's the human way. We build connections, even with a ship. Zarani thought for a moment. It's not perfect. No. He agreed. But it's real. She looked around the room. The ship was old, patched in places, and not the fastest. But it worked. And more than that, it lived. She took a deep breath. I want to stay longer, learn more. Cole gave a short nod. We'd be lucky to have you. Zarani turned back. To the engine. She didn't know what would come next. But for now, she was not just a guest. She was part of something. And for the first time in a long while, that felt enough. Zarani sat quietly in the control room, watching the soft blinking lights on the screen. The Nightingale floated through calm space, but the peace did not last long. A call came from the central station. Another ship was in trouble. Captain Cole listened to the message with a serious face. The ship is caught in the deep drift, he said to the crew. There's a science team trapped. Their engines are dead. If we don't help, they may not last much longer. The crew grew quiet. Everyone knew about the deep drift. It was a strange part of space where time and gravity acted in strange ways. Ships got lost there. Some were never found. Cole looked around. We're the only ship close enough. We'll go. Prepare the Nightingale. The team moved fast. Zerani joined them without a word. She checked the flight path, the ship systems, and the safety gear. She didn't show fear. But inside, she felt a tight knot in her chest. They reached the edge of the drift. The stars outside looked stretched and strange. Colors shifted, and space itself seemed to ripple. Zerani stood at the front window, her eyes fixed on the changing light. This place doesn't follow the rules, she said softly. Cole nodded. That's why we need our best pilot at the controls. Will you take the helm? Zerani turned to him. You trust me? I've seen what you can do, he said. And the Nightingale responds to you. Zerani took the seat. Her hands touched the controls. And the ship seemed to welcome her. She felt the soft hum beneath her fingers. It was like the Nightingale was ready. As they entered the drift, the ship began to shake slightly. Lights flickered. The path was not clear. There were waves of gravity pulling them in different directions. Zerani focused. She had to feel the way forward, not just see it. She guided the ship through a tight pass, avoiding a spinning debris. Field, the crew held onto their seats. Cole watched her calmly, giving short updates. No one panicked. They trusted her. We're getting closer, said Ellie from the sensor station. I see the signal. The science vessel is still holding, but barely. Zerani adjusted course. A sudden pull yanked the ship sideways. Alarms rang. She gripped the controls and steadied the Nightingale. With a deep breath, she pushed forward. They found the stranded ship. It floated near a small moon, its lights dim. No movement inside. Life signs? Cole asked. Faint, replied Liam. But still there. Cole gave the order to dock. Zerani, bring us in, slow and steady. Zerani moved the Nightingale with care. The drift made every movement harder. It felt like flying through thick water. But the ship followed her touch. Inch by inch, they closed the gap. The docking latch clicked. Rescue teams rushed over. Zerani stayed at the helm, ready in case they needed to move fast. Minutes passed like hours. Finally, the team returned. 5 scientists were brought aboard. They were weak and cold, but alive. The crew cheered. Ellie hugged Liam. Cole placed a hand on Zerani's shoulder. You brought us here. And you brought us back. Zerani nodded, her heart beating fast. She looked at the ship's screen, then at her hands. I didn't do it alone, she said. The ship helped me. They turned to leave the drift. The path back was rough. Space pushed and pulled in strange ways, but this time, Zerani didn't feel afraid. The Nightingale moved with her dot back in safe space. The crew relaxed. The rescued scientists were treated and fed. Cole spoke with command. Giving full credit to his team. Later, Zerani stood alone on the bridge. The stars were calm again. She looked out at them and smiled. The Nightingale was not the fastest ship or the biggest, but it had heart, and she had felt it in the deep drift. The ship had trusted her, just as the crew had. Ellie joined her. You? Okay? Zerani nodded. I understand now. This ship is more than metal. Told you, Ellie said with a grin. You felt her. Zerani turned back to the stars. She had flown many ships, but none had felt like this. The Nightingale was her ship now. And, for the first time in her life, she knew where she belonged. The Nightingale returned to the main station after the deep drift mission. The crew was tired but proud. Everyone on board had worked hard, and they saved lives. As the ship landed, people on the station gathered to welcome them. It was rare. For a ship to return safely from the drift, Zerani stepped off the ship with the others. For the first time, she didn't feel like a guest. She felt like part of the team. She stood next to Ellie, Liam, and Captain Cole as station leaders came to speak with them. A Zilari envoy was waiting too. Zerani recognized him. His name was Commander Doran, a high-ranking officer from her world. He looked at her with sharp eyes. "Pilot Zerani," he said, "you were assigned to observe this vessel, not join it." "I completed the mission," she replied calmly. "Your report is expected," he said. "Your people wish to hear about this ship and its crew. They want your judgment." "I will give it," she said. Later, Zerani sat in a quiet room with a communication screen. Her report was being recorded by the Zilari High Council. They asked her many questions. Was the human ship efficient? "Yes," she answered. "In its own way. Did the systems meet our standards?" "No," she said. "They were different, simpler, but effective." "Was the crew disciplined?" "They followed no strict structure," she replied. "But they worked in harmony." The council was silent for a moment. "Do you recommend further study of human ships?" Zerani looked down for a second. Then she raised her head. "No." There was shock on the other side of the screen. "No? I do not recommend study." She said, "I recommend partnership." The silence was longer this time. Then the voice of the council leader spoke. "Explain." Zerani spoke clearly. "The Nightingale is not a perfect ship, but it is alive because of its people. They care for it. They believe in each other. That makes the ship strong. I have flown many crafts, but none felt like this. It is not just a machine. It is a bond." The council ended the meeting soon after. Zerani knew they were not pleased. But she had spoken the truth. Back on the Nightingale, Captain Cole found her in the engine room. "You gave your report?" he asked. "Yes." "Any trouble?" They were not expecting my answer. "What did you say?" "I said I want to stay." Cole raised his eyebrows. "You want to stay on the Nightingale?" "Yes," she said. "If you will have me." Cole smiled. "I'd be glad to. You've earned your place here." Zerani felt a small warmth in her chest. She had been waiting a long time to hear something like that. Ellie ran into the room, holding a box of tools. "So you're not leaving?" "No," Zerani said. Ellie grinned. "Good. We need someone who actually reads the manual." The days passed, and Zerani took on more duties. She wasn't just a guest now. She was part of the crew. She flew practice runs, helped with repairs, and even joined in on movie night. The ship felt more like home every day. One evening, the crew gathered in the main hall. Captain Cole stood before them. "We've received a new mission," he said. "A joint mission with Zilari ships. We'll be exploring a new system together. It's the first time humans and Zilari will fly side by side." There were murmurs of surprise. Zerani stepped forward. "I believe we can do it," she said. "We're stronger together." The crew nodded. They trusted her now, just as she trusted them. The next morning, Zerani stood on the bridge with Captain Cole. The Nightingale was ready to fly again. "You're sure about this?" he asked. "I am," she said. "This ship gave me something I didn't know I needed." Cole smiled. "Then let's show them what we can do." As the engines powered up, Zerani placed her hand on the control panel. The Nightingale responded with a soft hum, ready for whatever came next. Zerani looked out at the stars. Her journey had brought her far from home. But in this old human ship, with its strange ways and warm people, she had found something she never expected. She had found a place to belong. The Nightingale flew through the quiet part of space. Stars shone around them like dust on dark glass. Inside the ship, things were changing. Zerani was no longer a visitor. She had a room of her own. She had duties, a voice, and friends. Trained every day with the crew. At first, she only followed orders, but now she gave suggestions. She worked with Ellie in the engine room and helped Liam with navigation. She even taught the others a few flying tricks from her home world. The crew listened. They respected her. One day, while working in the workshop, Ellie asked, "Do you ever miss your old ship?" Zerani looked up from the panel she was fixing. "I miss parts of it, but not the silence. Not the rules. Ellie smiled. Well, we've got plenty of noise here. The Nightingale received a message from Central Command. The joint mission with the Zilari fleet was starting. A large exploration plan had been approved. Several ships, both human and Zilari, would enter a new system together. The crew was excited, but also nervous. Some of them had never worked with aliens before. Zarani could feel the tension. She understood. Her own people still thought humans were too wild, too loose. Before the mission began, they stopped at a shared station for a meeting. Zarani walked through the hall with Captain Cole beside her. Zilari officers passed them without a word. Some gave her curious looks. A Zilari technician approached her. His name was Relin. "You're flying with humans now?" he asked. "Yes," Zarani said. "They trust you?" "They do." He frowned. "Strange. They are not like us." "No," she said. "They are not. And that's why I chose them." The meeting room was large and cold. Human officers and Zilari commanders sat on opposite sides. The leader from command stood in the middle. "We are here to build something new," the leader said. "A team built on trust." The plan was simple. Together, they would map a new area of space. Each ship would take part. The Nightingale would lead the path. After the meeting, some of the human engineers and Zilari scientists began working together. Zarani joined them. She helped translate systems, compare flight methods, and gave notes. At first, the teams clashed. Zilari wanted exact numbers. Humans preferred fast thinking. But slowly, things began to blend. People started learning from each other. Liam showed a Zilari pilot how to use a human nav scanner. In return, the pilot shared a way to save fuel on long trips. Ellie traded repair tips with a Zilari tech who used magnetic tools. Laughter slowly filled the halls. Captain Cole and Zarani met often with the other captains. They shared their maps, their progress, and even their stories. The walls between them began to fall. One day, a small emergency happened. A power relay on a Zilari ship failed, putting the crew at risk. The Nightingale responded first. Without waiting for orders, Cole sent a team to help. Zarani led the group. She worked fast, guiding the repairs. The Zilari crew watched in silence as humans patched the system in minutes. Relin, the Zilari technician, stood beside her. "You do care," he said. "Yes," she replied. "This is what teamwork means." After that day, the two sides trusted each other more. Walls turned into doors. More joint efforts followed. Back on the Nightingale, Zarani and Ellie added new systems to the ship, combining Zilari sensors with human control boards. It was the first step toward a shared design. "You're changing this ship," Ellie said. "We're changing it together," Zarani replied. Command sent a message later that week. The Nightingale's progress was being watched. Many fleets, both human and Zilari, were asking for updates. Zarani read the message and smiled. She had not planned for this. She only wanted to find a ship that felt alive. Now, she was helping build something even greater. She walked into the bridge where Captain Cole stood looking at the stars. "They're watching us," she said. Cole nodded. "Let them watch. Let them see what's possible." She joined him. Together, they looked out into space. Far ahead, there were still many stars to reach. But now, they would not travel alone. They would go forward together, human and Zilari. And the Nightingale, once just a simple human vessel, was becoming the heart of something new. The stars looked calm, but everyone on the Nightingale felt the pressure. They were heading into a part of space no one had explored before. It was dark, full of strange energy and unknown paths. The new system was marked only by number codes. No names yet, no maps. Just a message from command: explore, record, and return safely. Zarani sat at the helm. Her hands rested on the controls. Around her, the crew was focused. Ellie was checking the engine readings. Liam monitored the signals. Captain Cole stood behind her, silent but steady. Ready? Cole asked. Zerani nodded. Ready. The ship moved forward. The stars behind them slowly faded. Ahead, the dark system opened like a wide mouth. Space bent strangely. Signals bounced in odd ways. Lights flickered now, and then Zerani guided the ship with care. Her mind was calm, but alert. She didn't rely only on the machines. She trusted her senses, the feel of the ship, and the rhythm of the drift. The Nightingale responded smoothly. Then, without warning, the ship shook. Alarms rang. Field disturbance. Liam shouted, "Something's pulling us." "It's not on the charts," Ellie said, her eyes wide. Zerani gripped the controls. The ship leaned, twisted by unseen waves. The crew held onto their seats. Panels flashed red, engines at full. "Power!" Cole ordered. Zerani tried to turn the ship, but it was like flying through water again. Thick, heavy, slow. Her fingers danced across the controls. She had faced this kind of pull before in the deep drift. She remembered the feeling. It wasn't about speed. It was about balance. "Trust me," she whispered to the ship. She moved the Nightingale slowly, letting it slide along the wave instead of fighting it. The ship began to steady. She changed course just slightly, finding a path between the pulling forces. The shaking stopped. Everyone looked around. "We're stable," Ellie said. "For now." Liam added, "We're still in the system, but something's ahead. A kind of rift. A break in space." Zerani and Cole looked at the screen. A strange light filled the path ahead. It wasn't like a star or a planet. It was a crack, glowing softly. "This could be a major discovery," Cole said. "Can we go through it?" Zerani studied the path. "Maybe, but only if we do it right." Cole gave her a look. "Then take us through." Zerani focused. The Nightingale moved slowly, closer to the light. The ship hung beneath her hands. She felt every motion, every change. As they passed through the rift, the ship shook again. But this time, it wasn't fear Zerani felt. It was wonder. Beyond the rift was a new field of stars, brighter and closer than anything they had seen. Gas clouds glowed with soft colors. Strange structures floated in space, maybe old stations, maybe natural forms. It was beautiful. The crew sat in silence. "We're the first ones here," Liam said softly. Zerani looked at the stars. "They're waiting for names," Cole smiled. "Then let's give them some." For hours they mapped the area. They sent signals to the other ships. They marked safe paths, recorded energy fields, and studied the floating structures. Back on the bridge, Cole turned to Zerani. "You saved us again." Zerani shook her head. "We all did it. Together." He smiled. "Still, I think this place will remember the Nightingale." Later that night, Zerani sat alone in the observation deck. The stars filled the window like a sea of lights. She thought about her journey, about the ships she flew before, the rules she followed, the loneliness she felt. Now she wasn't alone. She had a crew, a ship, and a purpose. Ellie joined her, sitting down with a drink in hand. "Never thought I'd see this," Ellie said. "Neither did I," Zerani replied. Ellie nudged her shoulder. "Think they'll name something after you?" Zerani smiled. "Maybe, but I'd rather name something after the Nightingale." The two of them sat in silence, watching space. In the coming days, their reports would reach command. Their data would help new missions. Other ships would follow. But everyone would know who came first. Zerani stood up and looked at the stars again. She placed her hand on the window. "This is just the beginning," she said. The Nightingale drifted forward, steady and strong. And Zerani, the pilot who once found no ship good enough, now had one that fit her soul. She held the stars in her hands, and she wasn't letting go.